Guys. So I got a pretty simple schedule. I want to go through the paperwork, where you guys filing it, um, how you're going to collect and track donations, some campaign branding, and then some Q&A stuff. So first off, our candidates all get nominated at a convention. That can be either a local county affiliate or at the statewide nominating convention. There are some other exceptions, but those are the main ways that you're going to get on the ballot and get nominated by the party. Offices that are entirely contained within a county, such as um, a county, any county position, like county sheriff, or a township will all be within one county. So township trustees, those would happen either at your local affiliate or your affiliate that covers more than one county. But either way, it's a local affiliate. If you don't have an affiliate, you'd still probably be at the statewide convention. Otherwise, any candidate's office that crosses county lines, such as most state House districts, most state Senate districts, U.S. Congress, all of the top ticket, gubernatorial, Secretary of State, all of those offices, those are all going to be filled at convention by delegates. The state party, the Libertarian Party of Michigan, doesn't participate in the primary process. So the candidates that win at convention move straight from convention to the ballot in the fall. There's no primary where they're going to battle against other other libertarians, or they're not going to be on the ballot. You're not going to pick a Republican ballot at or a Democratic ballot at the primary. There's not going to be any libertarians on that ballot. Um, to be on that ballot, that would require the last presidential candidate to get 5%. And in 2024, Chase Oliver didn't get 5%. So we were not qualified for the primaries. So that's kind of just a quick background. And so where is that? The 2026 candidate nominating convention for the State Party of Michigan is coming up on June 28th, so a little over a month away. It'll be a Sunday, and it is on the front page of the website. It's at 9 a.m. at Holiday Inn and Suites in Troy, Michigan, on Tower Drive, 870 Tower Drive, Troy, Michigan. Um, to be a delegate there to vote on who is going to be our nominees, you would do that through your local affiliate or through the unaffiliated nominating convention. Emails have gone out with those dates for the unaffiliated. A lot of the local affiliates have already started, scheduling those for their local affiliate. So get with the local group if you wanted to get a nominated there. Most of them will be coming up here in June, and those that have them later in the month might be here at the end of this month. Um, and I'm going to share. All right. So yeah, we went through when and where do candidates get nominated by the Libertarian Party. Actually, I'll just while we're here, does anyone have any questions? Just shout out. You don't have to raise your hand. Okay, cool. So
Question I might have for you, and this is something that you could probably maybe dig into when it comes to election laws in Michigan.
okay.
This is a conversation I had with somebody else in the party a while back, and one of my concerns is if a local county affiliate or a political or a Libertarian Party affiliate nominates their candidates at a local convention, like let's say somebody's running for a county commissioner seat. And they are nominated at their local county affiliate or regional affiliate. And let's say it ends up being like a contested race and maybe the libertarian candidate happens to win that race. My concern is I've noticed that a lot of like local, regional, or county affiliates are not registered with the state of Michigan as a political party committee. And my concern with that is if they're not registered as a political party committee, are they actually recognized by the state of Michigan as a political party? Um, which could possibly invalidate candidates from being able to be, if they were nominated at a local convention like that. So it's something that maybe you could dig into because I don't know the exact answer on that. Um, I think it'd be worthwhile looking into as a state party too, to start getting people registered with the state of Michigan as political party committees. Um,
Yeah, so I do know that some areas are set up with the state of Michigan for campaign finance, but I am not sure that that your statement is accurate in that, I mean, just from my experience in Washtenaw County, we have an elected libertarian that was on a partisan ballot that won and is currently seated as a libertarian um, in a county that doesn't have a an affiliate that's filing paperwork, to my knowledge. It's a good question though. I could look it up to see for sure.
I I do know that last fall this was brought up, and I believe either the chair or the VC was reaching out to the affiliates that were not registered, whatever, and verifying this. So that's probably something that we should follow up with Tim, and I believe Justin. Well, Justin's not the chair anymore, but at the time, Justin and Tim.
Okay. That's a good follow-up question, and I will look into that deeper and get you a for sure answer, but I don't think that it matters. For sure, it wouldn't matter at the state level if we do it at the statewide nominating convention. But I know there hasn't been any issues with getting people on the ballot, so I have trouble believing that if they allow you to get on the ballot, that you would also then in the future could potentially win and then be disqualified later. That doesn't seem to make sense, but I will dig into it. I have all of those links saved and I can dig around. So as we're talking about getting nominated, the next thing is what does that paperwork entail? So there are three forms that you'll file either with the county or with the state um, when you receive the nomination from the party. So the first form is an affidavit of identity. And can you see this on your screen? Is Does anyone
Yes.
see? Yes. Okay. So the affidavit of identity has pretty good instructions. It's a two-page document. There's some pretty good instructions, and then there's the form itself. Now, a thing to note, a couple things to note on that document because we have had some problems with forms getting rejected for different things. Um, all of this stuff up here at the top, section one, the candidate information, you just put all of your information in there. Um, but then at the bottom here, our candidates will be selecting, I am running for partisan office and my political party is libertarian. It needs to all be filled out. And then this one here, you're going to check general election and it's going to be 11, what is it for 2026. All these are mostly regular term. And you just got to make sure that this form it looks weird because it's all lined up on the left, and then this line has primary but then over on the right, general. And we had some people miss that line, not realizing that there was two lines here. This line here, let's say you put in your name up here, you say, I'm Trevor Stepp, but then down here, how you wanted to print it on the ballot, and you say Mickey Mouse. That's how it's going to get printed. It doesn't matter what you put up at the top. The ballot will say the name that you put on this line. And you can't leave this line blank, even if you want it to just say your name earlier as it was written on the top. You got to fill that out with your name. This next section, people will try to go into we've had a few candidates do this. They're like, oh, I just want to get it done early. I see that there's these dates for the Republicans and the Democrats, which those dates have passed. That was April 21st. But they'll be like, oh, but I'm a libertarian and I don't want to do the petitions and all of that. I just want to do the filing fee. The Libertarian Party doesn't qualify for the filing fee for the general in the fall. So you're going to skip that and you have to do certification of party nomination and certificate of acceptance. So that's the only one we're going to be filling out for this fall. If the office you're running for is nonpartisan, you will have to do petitions because then the the party can endorse you because it's a nonpartisan race, but there's no the party doesn't actually nominate you. So a little distinction there. But so all of our candidates are typically going to be party certificate or certification of party nomination and certificate of acceptance. And we have those forms here to show you guys. And then if you previously ran before, you're going to have to put where you ran before. But that is whatever. Now, this form is a notarized document. The date that you sign this has to be the same date that the notary signs this and notarizes it. So when you put your name here on candidate signature and you date it, you can't sign it and show up to convention and have someone notarize it, or you can't have someone notarize a document and have this date here not match the date of notarization. That date doesn't have to match the date that you were nominated. So we could have your form filled out before convention. For example, if you're unable to attend convention in person, but you want to accept the nomination and you have someone that will present on the floor, or you have a Zoom, you'll be able to Zoom in or something like that and make your speech. If you get that and it has to be the original that we take to Lansing, for example. Let's say you did it, you could fill it out June 1st, send it with somebody to convention on June 28th. They can collect that with all the other paperwork and submit that to the Secretary of State in Michigan on Monday. When you receive a nomination, you have 24 hours to turn in that paperwork. That's either at county level or at statewide level. So on Sunday, June 28th, that paperwork is due by close of business on the 29th. The notary will fill this out. This isn't necessarily a stamped document. They'll just be filling out as is here. Any questions on the affidavit of identity? Well, I will say this. What the heck is an affidavit of identity? This is to tell them that you are who you say you are. And to have someone look at a legal document that says you are who you are, like a license or a passport, and that notary will certify that you are all of these here. All right. So did anyone have any questions? Cool. So the next thing you're going to fill out is just that you accepted the nomination from the party. So we're saying the documents are you are who you are, you accept the party nomination, and the party accepts your nomination, which is the next form. So the certificate of acceptance is not a notarized document. You're just going to put the name of the party. So you're going to put your name of the party, party office. You're going to put that title there. General election be held on that you put the date in there and your address, sign it, you're done. If you're not going to be there in person, you need to get the originals of this as well to someone at convention. This one's pretty straightforward, but we did have some people um, fill in this here to be held on the date of the year, or they put in the date and the month, and they didn't put the year. And so that was rejected by the Secretary of State. Um, all the lines need to be filled out correctly. The other form that you're going to fill out is actually not a state provided document. This is your nominating caucus or your party nominating certification. Your certificate of, there's different names for the different ones. But anyway, this is your nominating caucus certification. For example, this would be Libertarian Party of Michigan, X County nominating caucus certification. Please accept the following candidates for Libertarian Party for whatever year ballot. You'd have to fix all of this. It's just a letter that you write, but the key people that have to sign this are the affiliate chair and the affiliate secretary, or the state party chair and the state party secretary. That's signed and dated by them. That's going to have the candidate's name, office, their address, and where and when that certification took place. So that form will get filled out if you come to the convention. They'll fill that form out for you, and um, the chair and secretary will have that. If for the office is getting filed in Lansing, that'll be like one really long document with governor, lieutenant governor, secretary of state, all the boards of education, all that. It'll be all of them will be on one document. So they'll only sign that once, and they'll turn in copies of that for each candidate, or actually originals. But yeah. Um,
Inquiry.
what's up, Kevin?
Well, inquiry on the last form. The I'm in the thumb affiliate, which incorporates multiple counties. So how would that be addressed on that form?
So you'll be nominating at convention, predict or assumedly you'll be showing up to convention. So this would say Libertarian Party of Michigan. It would just say like the state, and they'll fill it all out for it'll be filled out. So
Okay, so that county, like, oh, no, for instance, if you're,
it won't say county.
it's
It would just say like Libertarian Party of Michigan. Statewide nominating convention June 28th, 2026. On this, like this would get edited as we see like the filled in.
generic example.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just like what it might look like. Is that helpful? Like it's changed. This isn't a form from the state.
All right, this is a temple. I mean, those I used last year, but it's modifiable. You can add whatever.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yep.
I don't think there's. I just know being an affiliate, that's both. It's a little predicament because we incorporate multiple counties and specific counties, but yet the district is also, or the position I like to run for, that also incorporates multiple counties, but not the same counties. They're within the affiliate. So
Yeah,
if I
so
understand correctly,
the state could still do that separately if that needed to be done separately, but it's cleaner and nicer for everyone involved if we do it all on the one day. We turn it all in the next day. We have our nice clean list of who's running for office. We don't have to chase people down. We don't have to host future conventions. We don't have to do any of that. So the good goal would be that everyone is submitted on the 29th. If for some reason things didn't work out, we'd have to call another district conventions. Um, yeah, but hopefully we won't have to do anything like that.
those forms those also apply to federal offices.
Yes, so this would still be getting turned into Lansing. The different form that the difference for like federal versus state is the next the next piece of paperwork here.
I think the campaign finance, I believe.
Yeah, so the paperwork you need to file, I'm going to go through that one next. So that's this here. So if you're a local filer at a county level, this is the form you use. And this is just all this is all your information. You just put in, what your name is, all your stuff like that. Um, this is the kind of the important one. All of this up here, you're going to put in your name, all your address. You're forming a committee. So they're going to give you this committee ID when you walk in. Um, you're going to give your committee a name. The committee has to have your first and last name. So it could be like, typically it's going to say Committee to Elect Trevor Stepp, but it could be the most awesome committee to elect Trevor Stepp. But that's a mouthful, and you're going to have to put all of that on your just like paperwork, like if you have yard signs and things. So keeping it simple, you typically see CTE, Committee to Elect, first name, last name. You don't typically see all the other stuff, but there's no guidelines. So sometimes you do see some candidates have whatever, Trevor Stepp for president. Now, it's a mouthful. It's a lot to write on all of your, it takes up space on all your flyers because you're going to have to make disclosures. Um, who paid for anything. Like if you have yard signs, you have to put who paid for them. If you have any literature, you're going to need to say who paid for them. Those regulations are different for the different offices, federal or local. We might do another training about that after, but this is just more getting you onto the ballot. So at the bottom here, this is important because this reporting waiver request. If you are not going to spend more than $1,000, you definitely want to click yes here or check yes that you're filing for the reporting waiver so you don't have to file campaign finance paperwork. If you think you might raise more than $1,000 or spend more than $1,000, but you're unclear, you're not sure how well it will go or whatever it is, or if it's a small office locally and you don't think you need to do that, you probably still want to click yes. If you're, for sure, you got donors that are coming in thousands of dollars at a time, you're going to have to click no, and you're going to have to fill out campaign finance paperwork. At the county level, it's going to be with your own county. Anyone else is going to be filing with the state of Michigan, and that's through the Mitten system. And that system is just on the state website. You're going to go there, you're going to give them your social, all your information, put in your committee information. But there's no form. It's just all online. There's no paper forms. So this is a paper form you print out and you hand into the clerk at the county level. Some offices will, for like federal and or state, could still be filing this. You don't necessarily, well, not federal, sorry. Some offices like state house seats will file because their state house district is completely contained within one county. That's essentially only in Wayne County, though. There's a couple of house districts in the city of Detroit that are all in Wayne County. Otherwise, this county paperwork is for only people like county clerks, county commissioners, trustees, stuff that's all local. All those state house, state senate, gubernatorial, all that stuff is going to be filed online with the state of Michigan. Federal candidates for Congress and U.S. Senate this cycle will file with the FEC. They won't file with the state. That limit is higher with the federal candidates for the reporting waiver and the reporting. It's $5,000 for those seats. but you still need to like have campaign finance, but you don't have to have it as nailed down with all of the reporting. But so this reporting waiver, most of our candidates typically check yes, they want the reporting waiver. If they raise more than 1,000, you can go back later retroactively and and file. But if you click no, there's no going back. You have to file. And then you have to dissolve your committee after. If you hit yes, you don't have to file. You just have to keep records. If you do break the $1,000 barrier, then you need to go back, amend, file your committee paperwork with all of your campaign finance stuff. And like the county, in this case, this county's going to have their own system where you put in, all of your income and expenditures and classify those. It's actually not that hard, you know, but pretty self-explanatory. All right, so those are like the forms to get yourself on the ballot. It's a bunch of forms, but they're pretty straightforward. So the next thing I wanted to go through was just if you do want to collect donations, I have some suggestions. You can do this different ways, but I'll go through a way that I suggest. So once you have your committee name, you should file with the FEC or the IRS rather and get an EIN. Let me. All right. So if you go to irs.gov and you go online, you're going to see information about filing for an EIN. You're going to go, it's going to be like, it's almost like, it seems like this isn't the right way to do it when you're doing it because you'll get to the menus. So you're going to say apply online for your EIN. You're going to begin your application. You're going to give them all your information. Let me make this bigger. Wait, hit play. How do I? Ah, is that bigger? Yeah. All right. So you're going to begin your application. All right. So you're going to get into the what is your EIN type, and the typical things you think of are businesses like sole proprietors, partnerships, corporations, but you're going to just click, continue because you're not any of those. You're a political organization, and you're going to be a committee. So you're going to put in your committee information. So a party or a committee or association. You're going to do this for banking purposes only because when you're collecting these donations, you're going to create a bank account later with this EIN as a business. So you're going to put in for banking purposes only. So now you've got your EIN, you're a committee. Then you're going to put in all of your personal information because this is with the IRS. So you're going to put your social in there, and you're going to be the responsible party for this money that comes in through your campaign. You put in all of your information, fill it all out, but then, what is the mailing address? But then you're going to put in your committee information here so that that matches up. So it's nice and clean. Your committee is the name of your organization. You're going to put in all your information there. And at the end, um, they're going to give you a letter. You got to be really careful to not delete this when it pops up. You're going to want to receive the letter as a PDF so that you can print it out and bring it to the bank. So that'll give you, I guess you could do it by mail too, but it's nice to just get it. I have the PDF. I can save it to my files, keep yourself organized, print that PDF off, and it'll have your EIN. It'll come like this, like They'll print out and it'll say summary of information. Yep, looks good. You're going to submit it all, and then you're going to get your confirmation letter here. All right. So that confirmation letter is going to be what you need to open a bank account under your committee ID. So, or your committee name. So now you're going to have your committee paperwork that you filed with the state or the county. You're going to have your EIN that you filed with the IRS. You're going to create minutes from a meeting with your committee that say something along the lines of the committee to elect Trevor Stepp met on May 19th, 2026. I, as the treasurer, or whoever your treasurer is, or whoever, in your meeting, you're going to say the, the attendees at this meeting elected so and so as treasurer. So I would typically, like when I went with mine for my campaign, I said the committee to elect Trevor Stepp met today, April 19, 2026. We elected Trevor Stepp as our treasurer and we authorized him to open a bank account in the name of the committee. I signed that letter, those minutes that I wrote to myself. I brought in those meeting minutes from my committee. I brought in my EIN documentation from the IRS, and I opened a business checking account. You're not going to be able to do this at a lot of the big banks. They're going to reject it. They're going to say we don't deal with political candidates or committees. They're high risk organizations in their minds. You're going to have to go to like a community bank, credit union, something along those lines.
You can go to Comerica,
You might be able to go to Comerica. I just know that
downtown Lansing.
if you go to like Huntington, they're going to give you a hard time. If you go to like Chase, they won't do it. Um,
Yeah.
there are plenty of banks. I know that the state party uses Fifth Third and has had success. Um, but I know a lot of candidates like went into their banks and had problems. So, and most people who went to credit unions have had no problems. When you have that bank account open, that's a nice way to keep all of your funding organized. That way, when you go to do your campaign finance filing, especially if you get a debit card, you're going to have every expense. If you make sure you only use that debit card or a check, you're going to be able to accept money from people who make deposits. If they write you checks, you're going to deposit into that account. You're going to have them write checks to your committee to elect Trevor Stepp. You're not going to have to deal with any personal and committee intermingling of funds. You're going to have it nice and clean. Makes it super easy to do your filings. I've used two different online platforms to collect donations for candidates and for their campaigns. DonorBox is one that's set up very specifically for candidates. You're going to put in your committee information at DonorBox. I'll open it up. If anyone's familiar, you've probably seen these forms. DonorBox is like one of the well-respected ones that's out there for candidates. It does a little bit of CRM work. It is a little more expensive as far as like it might take 4% of your money versus 3%. But it is easy to use. It'll give you like links that you could post on Facebook, on your Twitter and things. They're just donate now buttons. You click donate now, you're going to have all the fields to check. So you're going to, as a candidate for office, you're going to make sure you're collecting the donor's name, occupation, and a couple of things. I don't have it pull up in front of me, but for sure, name, occupation, employer, address. So you're to collect their donor information. You're gonna make sure it's clear who they're donating to. You're gonna have your disclaimers there. You know, it's a political organization, whatever it is. Committee to elect Trevor Stepp. I've also used Anodot. Anodot I found to be better. It was a little easier. The fees were a little bit lower. Um, it doesn't have kind of the, like if you wanted in donor box, you can set up like an email and you can send out like emails to everyone that's donated or volunteer emails. You know, they have this kind of CRM piece that they talk about right here. Um, they do some other ticketing and things, but for simple, just taking donations online, Anodot was simpler. It's actually looks cleaner. The code is easy to paste into your website as well, but you don't even have to do that. You could just link right to their page. I'll show you one that I set up, and we track with my local affiliate here. Um, so like we just put a donate button, and we just sent them right to this page. So you got your picture, you could do your campaign, you know, logos and colors. They can make a donation one time, monthly, whatever it is. You can pick those amounts, those boxes there. Easy checkout if they have Google, boom, they're already done. They've got their information there. They can donate. You give them their rules. This is just like the generic statewide. What is it? You can just copy this and then who's it paid for by? Boom. You got a donation page. Very simple. You set up your bank account. Those donations go right into your bank account. And the way that the donor box ones work is the same way. You could either embed it or have a pop up. But those are the two I think most likely to be used. You know, the Democrats have their own platform. I think the Republicans have their own platform as well. But like, the Libertarian Party doesn't have one of those, so you have to use a third party one. Um, but I would, you know, you can use whatever one you want, but those are easy ones and they're easy to set up with your bank. You know, there are certainly other options out there, but easy ones that candidates use successfully that I'm familiar with. I guess I'll open that up for questions since we just went through that. And like along the way, if you do go to convention, you do get nominated, and you're working on this early July, you know, I'll be around. You know, you can shoot me emails, and you have everyone who is here, I assume, either got my email or has been in contact with me. So the next one I want to go through is a little quick campaign branding. I don't want this to go drag on and on and on, but you know, campaigning is you could go on YouTube and watch 8 hours of campaigning talks and everything, but I wanted to just go through one quick thing here. Sorry. Some of the stuff. So there's like things that you can think about in the way you position yourself in your campaign. What is your brand? And I mean, the thing with being running as a libertarian is you got to keep it honest. You got to make it who you are, make it clear what you're running, why you're running. What is your story? If it's just I believe in the Libertarian Party or something, that's not a story that doesn't get people behind you. It's got to be how did you end up here? And people love that human interest piece. How the heck are you running for Congress and how the heck why are you running as a libertarian? So that personalized story. But the thing that I wanted to go through is if you're not if you want to brand your campaign as a libertarian and you want to be a part of the what our party is doing behind our candidates. You do not have to do this, but man, everyone looks better if it's understandable. If we can understand who you are, you know, we can build together versus all do our own thing. All doing our own thing's great, but I think we should have a shared goal of like the party grows too. And if you get elected, people can see that a libertarian got elected and maybe another libertarian can get elected. The Republicans and Democrats, they've got their red and blue. Everyone knows it. And you know, typically they're all of those candidates' branding is typically all red, white, and blue. We can really stand out, and part of that is we're the black and gold party. That's the party colors. This is our hex codes and PMS codes or whatever. Um, most of the software these days is going to easily, you know, you can plug that in and just switch your banners on your websites. Super simple. You don't have to use those exact ones, but keeping it black and gold really helps with recognition of what something you might stand for. And so it might get people asking questions. So have that. And then we do have fonts too, but you don't have to necessarily use the fonts. But um, I do love when candidates use branding that is recognizable so that the Libertarian Party is a brand and that people will recognize you as a libertarian. So um,
You
those,
do have veterans in the group.
what was that?
You do have veterans in the group.
Yep. Yep. Um, I don't, I'm not sure what that had. I'm sorry. I guess I was lost. What does that have to do with the colors or the
Oh,
font?
you were actually talking about branding yourself.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Certainly putting out that you're a veteran is a brand thing you can put out there. Sure, yeah. You know, a lot of people have positive feelings about the word veteran. So, you know, and some candidates just choose not to put the word libertarian on their signs. You know, I'm not here to tell you what to do with your campaign. I'm just giving you suggestions on what
What
I think
makes
will help it gain traction. And so that was all the stuff that I wanted to cover tonight. I don't want to like have everyone on here for 2 hours. But I will take any questions that are outside of this paperwork or as well. So before we get off of the meeting here, does anyone have any questions?
Will we get a copy of this video for us to review later?
Sure. I've been recording this, and when we stop, I will save that recording. Um, yeah, yeah, no problem. I'll
So
put it
now
on
with the
YouTube.
other two big parties, they have a lot of things to back their people up. Do we have like literature for like you've gone through generic, how to the committee and the EIN and all that stuff, but do we have people who actually know how to do branding, know how to do like advertising, things of that nature that actually specialize in those things, or are we kind of on our own on those?
So there's been people that helped out, especially with like press releases in the past. We had some people doing a lot of press releases, getting those out like to the media and stuff. As far as like branding, like your marketing stuff. I do have templates for a lot of things like yard signs, trifold pamphlets. We have some kind of like we did door hangers for a lot of candidates last year that the party did, where there's like on the front would be photos of your candidates, you know, headshots of everybody and the names and offices, and like certain like township that had like um, I'm blanking on the name of the township, but they had on the front like township supervisor, township trustees. They had like a couple township treasurer. So they had one hanger for like the libertarians all, and then on the back it was like five talking points or like points that they cared about in their community. And I have like templates where it's just like the door hanger that you could order, you could fill it, you could change the text, or you could leave the generic like the gun rights liter na blurb. Um, and then you could like print those on Vistaprint and send them to your house. We have a Canva account. We can like design things for you as well. I did a lot of like yard signs for people. Um, we don't have a lot of like a lot of stuff. There's not like a lot of people involved in the Libertarian Party, so it's not like there's like as soon as you get it become a candidate, we like send you a campaign manager and a brand manager. There's not that kind of money or people, but we certainly have some templates that people have used in the past for business cards, door hangers, and literature and yard signs.
All right. So
I'm
we have people though that have ran before though that can give us advice and things of that nature and how to set things up, or I mean beyond what you said, like because I understand, we got to set up the corporation and all that, or the the committee, not the corporation, but the committee, those things. But like anybody that's done this win or lose, and says, hey, this is how we did it. These are the bad things I did. These are the good things I did, so we can learn from what to do and not to do, from people who've already done it.
Yep, there's lots of that out there. We have had a couple of Zooms where we just had like candidates talk about their in 2024 at least. I mean, because it really partisan offices are really only every other year. The in between is very infrequently. It's mostly just nonpartisan seats in the odd years. But so in 2024, yeah, we had a bunch of the candidates come on and just talked about what did I do that worked, what did I do that didn't work, um, what did I notice when I printed my signs. Like for example, I'll say, man, the signs look good on a computer, very easy to read, very clear. But as soon as you got far away, the like Green Oak Township trustee along the bottom got very hard to read. You could read it when you got up close, but it is crazy how little space you actually have on a sign. I mean, those words have to be big. Anything small, you're 20 yards away in a car, you can't read it. Little things like that. I mean, they're not little, but sometimes you're like, man, my sign looks so good, but keeping it simple. Um, and then like as far as marketing stuff, I mean, we've done a lot of SMS messaging very successfully, and the candidate that actually won, he was in a nonpartisan race, but he's been a member of the Libertarian Party and um, ran for Congress in 2024 and then ran for city council in 2025. And we bought every registered name of and phone number of everyone registered to vote in his town, in his city. And we text messaged them all twice. So every registered voter got at least saw his name on their phone. And it was pretty affordable. Well, I can't recall the exact dollar amount, but he spent about $10,000 in total. And that was all money that donors raised. But he won his city council race, which was very highly contested and did really well. And he did a couple of events, text messaging, yard signs, and we did door knocking. The number one thing is door knocking. I mean, you get people to see someone at their door that smiles and says hello, um, and says that candidate's name. Say, hey, I'm door knocking for my name is I'm door knocking for Trevor Stepp. I wanted to tell you about Trevor Stepp's campaign today. You try to say it as the name as many times as you can. Here's literature for Trevor. Take this, read it later at your leisure. Make sure they're getting the name in their head. And the door knocking, I mean, that's the best thing you can do. But you're talking about running for U.S. Congress in the first. I don't think door knocking is going to do much for you there. I mean, that's way too big, way too spread out. But um, getting yourself to events. Um, a lot of the candidates that ran in the UP in the past have done a lot of events at universities, and there's a lot of little community events, barbecues, picnics, all that stuff.
All right.
Yeah. I had just one to follow, but I just know it's something that's very successful is when people are very active in their community and they get great brand or name recognition through, you see them in the newspaper or they're online. And like we have a small like group on Facebook. There's thousands of people that follow that, people that are very active there, and just or if you see your name in the newspaper, you see this person. Well, no, if there's like a realtor, I recognize her by name, and then she does a lot of local business. So if you're a local business person, you're in the newspaper, that brand, that name recognition locally helps out a lot. Of course, if you're running for like a state level, what level or what's the scope of the office you're running for?
Michigan District 1 Congress.
Like how many counties that does that
Oh,
incorporate?
shoot, it's the whole Upper Peninsula and the whole upper.
Oh
20,
yeah, you're
30
right. Yeah,
There's
yeah.
counties.
a
That's
lot.
now I think about it. Um, yeah, like Trevor said, the universities are a great hitting. But I went to Michigan Tech, so obviously when you have something established here, you're talking about thousands of people that see that Northern Michigan, Lake State Superior. I think
Well, every
university are
every
probably a good
congressional
hitting.
district is like 700,000 voters or something.
Yeah, and that's so that's
Anyway,
a bit that's a very large one to kind of hit because it's kind of all over the place. But obviously, there's centralized or there's very compacted populations that you'd want to target. Sault Ste. Marie, Marquette, Holland. I think if you got to those ones, maybe Iron Mountain, that's probably your selling point too. So, and just like I said, that name recognition in those newspapers. I know there's a prominent one up there. Can't remember what it's called. I think like the Keweenaw something. But yeah, that's what I recommend. I do have a question for Trevor.
All right.
So the next step in
Last
this, I
question.
think you want me to send you an email saying that, hey, I want to run, and then would
Oh,
you
I wrote
email
you
me the
down in my
document?
minutes here. I wrote a couple things out. I got you. I have your
Okay,
information
okay,
from
okay.
last time too, unless something changed, but we'll worry about that
That's
offline. But yeah, I'll jot you down and make sure we're ready for you.
okay. Everybody that has submitted their desire to run for office, are you sending? Are you? Should I expect documentation, or do I have to get those documentation, the piece of documentation on my own, like the affidavit of identity, the what was the other one? That's certificate of acceptance,
If
nominating.
you come to the if you go to the convention on June 28th, we'll have copies there. If you're filling it out before then, I mean all of that stuff is just on the website too. Um, and I'll be sending them out for people to review as well as we
All right,
lead
cool.
up. I'm gonna try to send everyone something like once a week.
Yep, yep. Okay, so um, I think that's about it. Is this something that we should cover in our affiliate level? Is for anybody that is looking to join, they should contact you.
Sure, sure.
Okay.
I like to just, it's just nice to have a list of everyone so that we can make sure like we're following up with people, making sure they get everything submitted, and then we can help try to promote them as well. I mean, that's part of the whole game is anything that, if a newspaper reaches out to me and I don't know, then I can't say,
Yeah,
they'll
exactly.
ask like I was asked about our gubernatorial race. And I was, I only had one person at the time, but now I've had a handful of people. So we do have a contested convention for sure, at least at that seat. I've got at
Answers
least
that.
three.
I have one inquiry. Our thumb party is it's a little bleak. We had one member, our president actually had, I don't want to say he resigned, but he couldn't. I guess he had too many other commitments with work and such. Uh, so we're looking for maybe more participation, more engagement with the thumb area. I don't know if you have any contacts or anybody's come across, but if you could send them to our, I guess it'd be our new chair, that'd be probably Brad Courier. That'd be appreciated because we're kind of very limited on on
Sure.
actual members in that affiliate.
Fair enough. Yep, that's good enough. I'm gonna stop the recording here. 'Cause I don't think this is gonna be necessary for people otherwise, but.